YouTube channel again, the best place for eczema warriors to get rid of the flares and get rid of the itch. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys exactly how I healed my fungal rash. In the summer of 2021, up until around fall time, October and November, I started getting these fungal rashes, which at the time I had no idea they were fungal until I did more research and until I saw multiple doctors to figure out what exactly was going on with my skin. Now, I know a lot of you guys have experienced fungal rashes in the past, whether it's an infection in your skin or it's some kind of fungal overgrowth in your actual body. And so I wanted to come on here to share with you guys my experience on dealing with a fungal rash internally and externally, and giving you guys exactly what I did to heal my rash within just a few months. So if you guys want to learn how I healed my fungal rash naturally without a diet, supplement, and topical tips, then make sure you watch this video until the very end. But before we dive into today's topic, you guys know I'm going to share something really interesting coming up. I am doing another free masterclass, you guys. And this masterclass, I'm telling you, is going to be so different than the other masterclasses I've done. Previous masterclasses is usually about healing your eczema, what you can do, diet and supplements, and all the tips and tricks. This masterclass is going to be teaching you how to do less with your eczema healing journey to get better results. And so if you're someone who feels very overwhelmed, who feels like you've been seeing so many practitioners and trying all these different gut healing protocols, skin healing protocols, and you're just not healing, this masterclass is going to teach you exactly why you might be feeling stuck and how you can actually do less, scale back a little bit, and actually see more healing. So if you want to attend the masterclass, then make sure you go to the link in the description box below. You have to leave your name and your email in order to be registered in the masterclass. And don't forget to confirm your subscription when you leave your email and your name. That way you actually get the Zoom link for the masterclass. I hope to see you guys there because it's going to be such a good one. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. As a disclaimer, for anything that I'm going to be sharing in today's video, it's going to be things that work for me and may not necessarily work for you. That being said though, anything that I'm recommending in today's video is going to be based on research, based on my experience, and based on me seeing my own functional medicine doctor. If you have any specific questions about how to heal your own fungal rash, make sure you guys check with your own practitioner because you don't want to try things that won't actually suit your own needs. Just like all my other YouTube videos, they are meant to be educational purposes only. It is not intended to substitute medical advice. So again, please check with your practitioner or your doctor before starting any of the supplements I'm recommending in this video, as well as the topical things I'll also be recommending as well. So let me give you guys kind of a history of what happened with my skin and getting this really scary fungal rash that was all over my back. So in the summer of 2021, actually, I started getting little patches of what looked like eczema to me, actually at the bottom of my bum, where I sit down, kind of in that warm area. And at that time, I was just thinking, oh, it's just eczema. You know, my eczema does come and go sometimes, not so much in the summertime. Usually it gets worse in the winter, but I started getting it under my thigh, which I thought was really interesting because I never have eczema there ever in my life. And so over the few weeks of having this little patch of rash that kept kind of spreading, my intuition was telling me that, okay, this is something different. This doesn't feel like my regular eczema. And for my eczema warriors out there, you guys know when something feels different. For example, for those of you who are dealing with topical steroid withdrawal or TSW, you know it feels really different than eczema. Similarly to having a fungal rash, it feels really different than having eczema. Your body just kind of knows sometimes when it feels different, and so that's exactly how I felt when I was dealing with this fungal rash. So I ended up seeing a doctor online. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to the clinic right away as soon as I wanted to get this assessment done. And she looked at it and said, oh, it looks fungal for sure, so let me prescribe you this cream to use and hopefully that will go away. So she prescribed this topical antifungal called Lamisil, and she told me to apply it every single day for a month. And of course, because it isn't a steroid, I wasn't as concerned, so I did listen to what she had recommended and started using the Lamisil every single day for the entire month. And then thankfully it cleared up completely in August. So it took a couple months, actually not 1 month, it took 2 months for it to completely go away. So I was like, okay, I'm good. Like it was just a one-time thing, you know, I'm not gonna get this fungal rash anymore. And by the way, if you're curious about what this rash looked like under my bum, here's a picture of it. Looks like eczema, right? But it actually was fungal because it did clear up from using the fungal cream. Now, moving forward to October, November time, I started getting this weird itchy sensation on my back. And I was like, okay, you know, maybe it's from me getting a new dog. Because for those of you who don't know, I got a new puppy at the end of October. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm having some kind of allergic reaction to my dog. And so I got my boyfriend to take a picture of my back. And I asked him, I was like, oh, like, is there something there? Because I actually can't see it, right? And so he took a picture of my back and it looked like this, which was so scary to me. I was like, this doesn't look like eczema because I never get eczema on my back and it's never so widespread like that. So I'm like, I'm really scared. Like, is this the same as the fungal rash that I had? And so this was really what prompted me to start using the Lamisil again. So I ended up using the same Lamisil that was prescribed back in June, and it cleared it up, kind of. So it made the red rash look not so red. I know in the picture it doesn't look very red, but it was very inflamed to more of a darker hyperpigmented color. But the actual patch of rash was still there. And so I got really concerned after having this rash for several weeks. So I went to the doctor, walk-in. Thankfully I was able to go to a walk-in clinic. Nowadays it's hard with COVID, but she assessed it and she was like, this actually looks fungal as well, but it could also just be your eczema. And I was like, no, like my eczema does not feel like this. This is really itchy. It was kind of spreading and it just felt so different. And I was like, oh, can you please, you know, recommend something else, because I've been using Lamisil and it hasn't been working. And so she was like, okay, since it hasn't been working, let's consider doing an oral antifungal, and that's when she prescribed me fluconazole. And because you guys know I've dealt with TSW and went through steroid withdrawal, I am kind of naturally reluctant to taking medications if I don't need to. And of course, if it's needed, I'm gonna do it. But I ended up seeing my functional medicine doctor. I have several practitioners that I work with, and she did some testing on me, and she looked at my urine test, and we actually found some yeast overgrowth and fungal overgrowth in my actual urine. So that really confirmed that I did have some fungal overgrowth going inside of me that's actually presenting on my skin. Now, before we did the test, I actually didn't know I had yeast and fungal overgrowth in my body, so I wanted to do my own research and read some research papers to see if there's a natural way of clearing this fungal rash. Given that the Lamisil isn't working, I wanted to try something different. So upon doing a lot of research and reading a lot of research papers, I learned that there are a lot of different herbs that you can use to help with fungal rashes. And this research paper talks about black walnut, which is a type of nut that are often recommended for managing fungal rashes, fungal overgrowth. So I went to the supplement store. I also consulted with my functional medicine doctor and asked her opinion, and she was like, give it a shot, because she does recommend black walnut to her own clients as well. And so I picked up a black walnut tincture, and I also picked up oregano oil, because there's a lot of research talking about oregano oil being an antifungal, having antifungal properties as well. So I took black walnut in a tincture form. I just followed the bottle of what the bottle was recommending, and I took oregano oil as a tincture version as well, and I also followed the bottle as well. So I did this combination, black walnut tincture as well as oregano oil tincture, for about 2 to 3 weeks, and my skin started slowly to improve. And at this time of me taking the black walnut and the oregano oil, I was not taking the medicated oral antifungal, because I wanted to just kind of see if these natural herbs will help me, and they in fact did. So I left the fluconazole, even though I bought it, on the side, and I was gonna ask my functional medicine doctor about that before starting it if I still need to. So I was using this alternative therapy to help me get rid of my fungal rash by using the black walnut tincture as well as the oregano oil tincture. While I was taking my black walnut and my oregano oils, I was taking other supplements to help support my digestion as well as my dysbiosis that I have. And so I was taking my probiotics and also eating a lot of fiber to make sure that I'm feeding the good bacteria. And given that I was having this fungal overgrowth presenting on my skin, which shows that internally there's something going on as well. So that's what I was doing in terms of taking supplements to help with my fungal rash. But at the same time, I also wanted to use topical ways to heal it as well, because it was really itchy and the rash was healing, but it was still not, you know, to the extent where it was completely gone. Okay, hold on, we have to back up a little bit because I totally forgot to share something that's actually really important. So as I was having this rash on my back and starting to take these tinctures, I actually went to Mexico at the end of November while I still had this rash going on my back, which was improving. And in the time I was in Mexico, it was doing really good, the sun really helped, the water really helped as well. But when I came back, literally 2 days later, the rash actually got a lot worse. So it ended up spreading not only on my back, but all the way up around to my stomach. I don't have a picture of it because I forgot to take a picture, but it actually got worse coming back from Mexico. And I really suspect it was the humid weather in Mexico, maybe something that I picked up when I was in the ocean. I have no idea, but it definitely got a lot worse. So I really got scared that it was still spreading even though I was taking these tinctures. But I did take a break when I was in Mexico. I didn't carry my supplements with me there. So then when I came back from Mexico, that's when I was like, okay, I need to get back on my supplement regimen. Let's start taking the black walnut and the oregano oil again, following the bottle recommendations. And then I also wanted to use something on my skin because it was spreading and the Lamisil really wasn't working even though I was applying it as well. So I stopped using the Lamisil and then I ended up creating my own oil to help with the fungal rash by doing the research, looking into which oils are actually helpful for fungal rashes. So upon finding research, rosemary oil has antifungal properties as well as apple cider vinegar and tea tree oil. Now, I want to say, you guys, as a disclaimer, be really careful with using essential oils. You don't want to start putting oils directly on your skin because that can actually damage the skin. I consulted with someone to help me recommend, you know, how much I should take for essential oil kind of blends, and I ended up just making my own. She recommended me something to use on my skin, so I ended up making rosemary, apple cider vinegar, and tea tree oil, kind of this concoction, and applied it to my skin daily, and it really helped with the itch. And after a couple weeks of doing that, the rash completely started to clear. So then when I went to see my functional medicine doctor, at that time when I saw her, my skin was already good. I didn't have the fungal rash anymore, but I told her exactly what I did, and she was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's what you usually do for her own clients who have fungal presentation in the body. And then in our session together, we looked at my results for my stool test as well as my urine test, and that's where she was able to pick up that I had fungal and yeast overgrowth in my body, even though I didn't have other symptoms, you guys. I know in my other videos on candida, I talked about when you have candida, you have symptoms, you have history of antibiotic use, you have cravings of sugar, you have brain fog sometimes, right? But I didn't have any of those symptoms. The only symptoms I really had was this fungal rash. That's why I wasn't really sure if I had candida or not. But the test that I did with my functional medicine doctor was able to identify that I did have some kind of yeast and fungal overgrowth, and that's why the supplements and the topicals that I took ended up healing my skin, because that's in fact exactly what I had. So if you guys are wondering if you have a fungal rash, don't do this by yourself, you guys. I had a lot of help. I asked my functional medicine doctor, and I also went to the clinic to get it assessed, okay? This is something you don't want to take lightly, because if you need to take a medication, you do have to take it. I'm totally not saying that using natural therapy will help you heal. It really takes a combined approach, which is what I did with my functional medicine doctor as well, because I did end up taking fluconazole. She really recommended that I needed to take it, and so I'm just following her recommendations and sharing with you guys what I did with my fungal rash. Of course, please ask your own practitioner, because my case probably is very different than your case. I just wanted to share my experience, share the research about why I use these supplements and why I use these topicals. So if you guys are suspecting you have a fungal rash, please get an assessment by your doctor. See a functional medicine doctor if you need to recommend the supplements and the topicals you can use. The other thing I want to mention here is that you might be asking what kind of diet changes I made for managing this fungal rash. I actually didn't change my diet, you guys. And this is to show you that you don't need to change your diet heavily when you're dealing with skin issues, okay? I thought I had to go on this low sugar diet, you know, avoid all the yeast, avoid alcohol, make sure I don't have any kind of sugar or carbs in my diet in order to get my fungal rash under control. The only thing I really did was to focus on the supplements, focus on the topical ways of treating it, seeing my doctor, and not necessarily excluding foods out of my diet in order to manage my fungal rash. If you guys have more questions about this experience, leave a comment in the description box below. I'd be happy to answer them. If you also need more help with your eczema journey and you're feeling like really stuck, you can book a free discovery call at the link below, and I'll be happy to support you on your journey. I hope you guys found this video helpful on how I healed my fungal rash naturally without using a diet, with the supplements and the topical tips I recommended to you guys in this video. If you want to learn more about how to heal your skin, again, come to my free masterclass. The topic is about how to do less on your eczema journey to get better results. Now, of course, I'm still going to be recommending tips and strategies to help you manage your skin, but the big focus is on actually doing less. And you'll actually be really surprised on how much that can actually help you with your own journey. And again, you can register for the masterclass at the link in the description box below. Leave your name, leave your email, and make sure you confirm your subscription. And as always, make sure you guys like this video, hit subscribe so you never miss a video from me. And lastly, make sure you guys check out my 2 other videos right here, because I share more videos on eczema, TSW mindset, to help you with your skin healing journey. Thanks everyone for watching today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one.